Good morning and welcome to the Lost Island theme park here in Waterloo, Iowa. I've been dying to say that for so long. Lost Island opened up in 2022, so definitely one of the newer theme parks out here. But it's really interesting because it is a theme park. It's not just an amusement park. Even though this park is very small and it's a select amount of rides, all of them and the areas they're in are extremely meticulously themed. There's different lands and each ride is tied in to the narrative of that area. After visiting so many parks, it's the ones that do things differently, like Lost Island, that really gets me excited. So obviously I'm excited to see the park. I'm excited to check out the all-new Fire Runner, the RMC single rail. So let's take a look at Lost Island. MontuGani is a small-scale, intimate hydraulic launching roller coaster. So I find this really interesting because the hydraulic launch was known for how powerful and torquey it is, and it was best proven in very large, very fast, very tall roller coasters. MontuGani only goes 47 miles an hour. It's only 79 feet tall. But even though it's not what you would expect, the hydraulic launch works really well here. You still get that initial yank, that pull, that torque out of the station. It's just funny because it feels like the beginning of a ride like Top Thrill Dragster, but the acceleration just stops accelerating like a quarter of the way into a much faster ride like Dragster or King Ka.
And this is the only green hydraulic launch coaster remaining. That's crazy, guys.
Something neat to me is how Lost Island has been sourcing their rides. MontuGani used to be called Kanonen when it operated in Sweden at Liseberg. But Lost Island has done a great job with the paint scheme, the station, making the trains look awesome. Great ride. Like I said, the launch, punchy. This top hat, it does give you some airtime, and that first airtime hill on the ride, tons of airtime too. The vertical loop as well as the twist at the end of the ride provide a lot of hang time. So it's very short, but it has a good balance of forces throughout. Great ride, could ride this over and over. And the saga continues of Lost Island sourcing rides from really interesting places. Skyborn is a SNS drop tower. It is not the one that really launches you up, but it kind of propels you up a little bit. It still focuses on the drop, but I'm gonna be honest, the drop, not too intense. It's pretty chill as far as drop towers go. But as with pretty much all the rides here, a lot of the experience is found in the queue and the pre-show and the build-up to the actual ride. Now, whatever you think about the intensity of the ride, a lot of drop tower models just drop, and that's it, they hit the brakes. What's nice about these SNS compressed air drop towers is they'll come down and kind of bounce back up, come down, bounce. Just gives you a little more duration, a little more fulfillment out of the time you may or may not have spent in line. In this case, it was a walk-on. Good ride, it's a drop tower. This came from Buffalo Bill's Casino and Resort in Nevada, the same place that housed the late Desperado Aero Hyper Roller Coaster. So this was there as well, and Lost Island got their hands on it, themed it up, and turned it into Skyborn. So, good time.
I like the name.
As far as Vekoma SLCs go, Nopuko Air Coaster was actually pretty good. I don't think it's the smoothest tracking SLC I've been on. I would still give that to Thunderhawk at Michigan's Adventure. But what this does have going for it is those new Vekoma trains with the vest restraints. And oh my goodness, does that make a difference. Whenever the whole train bucks a little bit, you still get that on your back. But those moments that would normally cause headbanging, even on the smoother SLCs, but with those big restraints, anytime there was too much lateral movement like those inline twists, you would often be jostling between the restraint, and that doesn't happen here. Lost Island is very dedicated to guest satisfaction, and they heard the outcry that Nopuko was running decently, but with a few horrible potholes. So this past off season, they actually replaced a few sections of track, and there were no awful potholes. The worst moment was definitely at the top of that first inversion. There was a bit of a jolt, but I wouldn't call it a crazy pothole or anything like that. Most of the ride ran really well, and this is the extended version with the helix at the end. That helix was unbelievably smooth for whatever reason, more so than the rest of the ride. I don't know if they added that after the fact, if this was an SLC without the helix in a past life. This SLC actually came from South Africa. So in the deconstruction, shipping, rebuilding, putting new trains on it, it is running really, really well. Overall, solid ride. It's an SLC, but like I said, those new trains, it makes it a decent ride.
Will this be the finish here?
Amara Aviators. I've gone from having done no Gerstlauer Skyflies to now having done 2 in a very short period of time. These things are awesome. I really like rides that give some of the agency to the rider. You're in control of a good bit of the ride experience here. As a kid, you have like the teacups rides that you can spin, but I like that there's kind of a thrill version of that here. You can get this thing spinning like crazy. At Nickelodeon Universe, they said, you know, you could twist and lean and whatever, but the biggest factor is the more you weigh, the easier it's gonna be to flip. And that's just physics. The more weight you have as a rider, the higher the center of gravity of the vehicle becomes, thus making it easier to invert over and over. And on this one, once you get spinning, you can just hold the rudders and you will just keep spinning. I lost count after 16 spins, so I'm glad I didn't do this right after I ate. Really good ride. These are super fun flats. Okay, Fire Runner. That queue is awesome. You go through a cave, there's flickering lights, there's props all around, it's dark, there's music. It adds so much when you have an immersive experience leading up to the ride. From my understandings, Lost Island doesn't typically get, you know, hours and hours and hours of lines, but even if it is a pretty quick wait, who wouldn't want it to be a more immersive, exciting experience leading up to the ride? Now, the ride experience itself, it is everything you know and love about these small scale, compact RMC Raptors. But there's even a little icing on the cake. You have the longer trains, which do give more whip over that drop. Up in the front, the drop is a little less exciting than in the back, but by the time you reach the bottom, the whole train just gets pushed into those next elements. Watching these Raptors, especially when they go over that first twisted airtime hill, up the curve into that little S-bend, that whole section looks sped up. So far, I am just impressed by what Lost Island was able to do here with Fire Runner. just did a ride on Volkanu. I mean, outside of a Disney or Universal park, I don't think you're gonna find a better dark ride. Seriously. This is a Sally Dark Rides shooting dark ride, and it blends practical sets with those screen shooting moments. Incredible ride. You'll probably start to get a theme here, but not just the ride itself, but the queue, the pre-show. There's an animatronic in the queue. Impeccably well done. Really enjoyed my ride, even if I didn't win. I came in 3rd out of 4. It is a 3D dark ride, so you do wear 3D glasses. It plays well into what's happening on those screens. The practical set piece parts of the ride, those don't involve any shooting. That's just kind of a traditional dark ride moment leading you to the next screen where the shooting once again commences. It's a good mix-up, although I would have liked it if they could incorporate the shooting into those practical set moments, but also those practical moments were so good that I feel like they also could have just done a dark ride with no shooting whatsoever and solely focused on those. But I do like that it's a mix. You kind of get multiple micro experiences out of this. So check out Volkanu. This might honestly be my favorite ride here. Again, just because you don't get something like this at regional parks. Something I really appreciate about Lost Island as a theme park, it's not like they just selected pre-existing intellectual properties. They went and created their own lands, their own concepts, and it's all based on 5 different realms: fire, earth, water, air, and spirit, or in Lost Island language, Mura, Yuta, Awa, Udara, and Tamariki. So those are the 5 lands. And each of those lands have their own narrative, their own conflicts, things they have to resolve, and each of the rides and attractions play into those themes. It's so unique, and it's presented in a very palatable way. The colors and the themes of each land stand out. It's just a really, really neat part of the park that you get to experience as you walk through. So that is going to do it for my day here at Lost Island. I came in expecting a charming, small theme park, and that's what I got, but I got it tenfold. This place is something special. This is a park that gets it. Not many parks are so in tune with what their guests want, what they expect. This is the blueprint of what a small park should be. I don't think every park needs to be a theme park. I think plenty of parks exceed at being amusement parks. But man, when you know that theme is what you're going for, this is how you do it. So I'm so glad I was able to make it out here to Lost Island to check out this incredible park. Honestly, the fact that they have an RMC Raptor and an Intamin hydraulic launch, even if it's small, as their 1-2 punch, out of this world. Just an incredible day. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking it. If you want to see more roller coaster, amusement, and theme park content just like this, consider subscribing. My name's John. You've been watching Mid-Course Discourse, and I'll see you next time.